The last section of this chapter, starting on page 459, is about dialogue, or the collaborative processes that conversational partners experience. In that first section, it's just a continuation of the discussion we were already having about back-channel responses, saying that conversational partners help each other out a lot, and they often finish each other's sentences, as it were. The second section, beginning on the bottom of page 476, is discussing how quickly and in what ways conversational partners arrive at conceptual pacts. A couple of examples are given in figure 11.11 and then also in table 11.3. You can see that if you look at the first panel in figure 11.11, that there's in panel A, there's only one picture of a dog, but in panel B, that second set of cards, there are two pictures of dogs. So if the first set of cards were used earlier in the task, then communicating partners talking about these cards would use the phrase, the dog. But if presented with two dogs on different cards later on in the same game, they may have to become more specific and refer to either the Dalmatian or the Cocker Spaniel or, the spotted dog or the curly-haired dog or something like that. And because there's different ways of referring to these dogs, researchers study whether conversational partners are consistent in referring to the dogs in the same way, using the same words. The other kinds of things that researchers have done are, for instance, to make a computerized maze game and then see how participants talk about the maze. So some participants adopt a strategy that's talking about certain paths in the maze. You can see these illustrated in 11.3, table 11.3. Some participants will talk about it using a coordinate strategy or a lines and boxes strategy, and these different strategies will be adopted by the conversational pair, not just one person. It's very uncommon. I mean, in fact, it doesn't happen in these research studies that one participant will talk about it using, for instance, the coordinate strategy, and the other will talk about it using a lines and boxes strategy. Because if one participant adopts a strategy, then the other will go along with it. Sometimes these agreements, these conceptual pacts, are made implicitly, and it's not a formal agreement made. But sometimes there is a formal agreement made. Sometimes they talk about what would be the best way of talking about this game. Anyway, and then the next section proposes how do these conceptual pacts take place? How do these agreements between conversational partners come about? And there's two different accounts that could attempt to explain these conceptual pacts. The first account is a collaborative account, and the second one is an egocentric account. But these two accounts differ in a couple of their predictions. The predictions are outlined on page 464 at the bottom of the page, and you can sort of get mired in the details there a little bit. I won't try to explain them. But the important issue, to make a long story short, the rest of the chapter is just describing the fact that we can't dissociate yet the two competing accounts. There's not enough evidence to suggest either one is a stronger account than the other, and so it's possible either that people are using a top-down approach and collaborating purposefully, or that alternatively participants are using an egocentric approach just to accomplish the communicating, to make the communication as easy as they can for themselves. And there's evidence to suggest in both directions that there's some collaboration going on and there's some egocentrism going on, but that one model can't compete out over the other. So probably, as in most areas of psychology, there's some joint bidirectional factors playing into each other, and that neither one of them is more right, but that they're both correct and both play a role.